Hello students, in today's session we are going to discuss the new part of the syllabus which is emotional intelligence. Okay, the word means over here bhavnatmak buddhi mata. That means that it is intelligence or the knowledge of emotions. Okay, Socrates has very well said that know thyself. Okay, so as a bureaucrat, you need to have this conception of emotional intelligence, which means you can perceive the emotions, not only yours, others also. Okay? You can analyze them, you can recognize them, and then you can channelize them in the decision making, in the governance. Is it clear? This is the key meaning of the word over here. So Aristotle, he has very rightly said over here in his Nicomachean Ethics that anybody can get angry. Okay, it's very easy, but to be angry with the right person, okay, right degree and right time for the right purpose in the right way is not easy. Now understand, even this whole process of mains where you are solving the questions, it is not easy. You need to have emotional intelligence, especially in your optional paper, what to choose at that moment and what to leave at that moment. Similarly, when you are a bureaucrat in your district, okay, there will be situations where the crowd will be coming towards you, and that point of time you should be someone who could actually know your emotions, how I'm going to react. Am I the aggressive one? Am I the passive one? Right? You have to understand the core reason with all rationality that why the crowd is angry. You need to have that empathetic skills to step in their shoes and analyze the situation. Not only this, after all this, you need to have those social skills where you can actually communicate with the crowd very well. Is it clear? So we have just discussed this term that it is the ability to recognize the emotions, right? To understand these emotions, you're able to manage these emotions, and definitely you are able to influence the emotions, yours and others. You are able to have that social skills, and leading to a very constructive communication. Is it clear? Of your own and others present over there. Example, okay, suppose there you are a district magistrate, okay, and we notice over here that some local shopkeepers, they are resisting and they are saying this new waste segregation policy. They don't want that the dustbins should be present far off places that every time they have to go. Instead of being angry, instead of being that rule bound, having that bureaucratic attitude, no, you should do this, you should actually listen to them. What is the issue? Half of the problem is solved by listening. You have to first listen the issue and then solve, not impose. It has to be not top down approach, rather it has to be bottom up approach for the administrator, right? So basically what happens when you listen to them, you learn that the municipality, the people, they have these people, they have kept the dustbin far off, and every time the shopkeeper has to go far off, throwing away the waste. Now you realize that this can be easily solved. Let's do that in few hundred meters. Let's keep this dustbin so that it becomes, life of the shopkeeper also becomes easy. Then he will also be following those rules. When you make rules, are just not imposed, you make it easy for the people to follow, then people become duty bound as their civic responsibility they will be following, right? And apart from this, that time you can start a public drive campaign. You can, we have studied in attitude, you can use the methods such as persuasion and all, and you can influence the public in that area to follow the Clean India campaign, to even the shopkeepers to follow the waste segregation policy. Is it clear? So this is the aware, empathetic attitude of a bureaucrat. Is it clear? Now, apart from this, if you see in governance perspective, we have a very classic example of Nelson Mandela. Okay, so what happened after post apartheid? We had seen that despite being 27 years in jail, Nelson Mandela, basically, he was the one who had started the Truth and Reconciliation Commission in South Africa. He was not the one who was basically fighting against the Britishers. He was trying to bring in this reformist approach because a man of very high emotional intelligence, he had a visionary, okay, approach, and he focused on education in South Africa, and this has led to South Africa being the most one of the most developed nations in whole African continent. Is it clear? He was empathetic. He had this long-term vision that education and democracy is going to lead people further ahead. Is it clear? Because of his emotional intelligence. He understood his emotions. He understood the people's emotions. He understood the emotions of the Britishers at that time over here. Right? So long-term visionary approach. Is it clear? So that's why this whole process of emotional intelligence is important. First of all, it increases the self-awareness, okay, and it increases the emotional regulation. I know I'm self-aware that these are certain things I will get agitated, and these are certain things if I do, I will be at peace. So while studying, while ensuring that my there is a consistency in my preparation, I will make sure that I will do those things which bring in more peace. It builds empathetic communication and trust. If a friend, she's coming to you and she's telling something, okay, you are listening. This communication is a two-way process. You are listening her more and then empathizing and later advising her. It promotes better decision making and stress management. Okay, so basically, if you take the example, suppose in your district there are some tribals. Okay, you are posted in a tribal district. They are coming to you, and they are coming with some forest, their own timber forest right acts, and they are saying ki this thing is interfering in our nature, in our traditional way. So you have to be somebody who has to have that empathetic attitude. You have to be somebody at that point of time that you can communicate well, okay, and then you have to make a decision making. You don't have to get emotional, but your decision making should be such that you impact the last mile man who is standing over there. Is it clear? Definitely, if when you do something for the good, right, there's this concept of generosity, doing things just for the sake of doing, there is a sense of well-being, there's a sense of personal well-being, and definitely it will lead to professional success also. Now I hope this concept, what is emotional intelligence, is it clear? Now let's see, if somebody who has a very high emotional intelligence, he is going to be a good listener. He will never be interrupting your sentences in between, okay? He will be assertive in what he say. For example, I support somebody must be talking a lot, but then about cleanliness and all. He will be very assertive with his views. I like cleanliness and I support Green India campaign and I go and participate in that. Somebody would be like, oh, the government is doing this and that, but he would be very assertive and firm and factually, logically correct with his stand. Okay, he would be very persuasive. He will be coming with logic. He will not be talking on some news based on WhatsApp University. His facts, his persuasive method. You remember persuasion? We have done an earlier class in attitude. I have done two ways of persuasion theory. One was long route and one was short route, right? We had seen in the long root theory that no, central root theory, right? And another one was this rhetoric way. So basically, in peripheral way, in the long root, we had already seen that the person uses the concept of utility and logic. In the short root, it is more of the emotions and rhetoric. But when you will be somebody who has high emotional intelligence, you will have, or you will be using the central route to persuasion. You will always talk in terms of utility, in terms of concepts, right? Social behavior over here, it's going to be warm, it's going to be stable, and it's going to be charming, right? When you will be bureaucrat, all these things will be seen. You won't be egoist or bossy, right? Some people are very humble, those who are very high emotional intelligence. Emotional control, definitely you are going to be patient, ठीक है, you are going to be calm and emotionally consistent. ऐसा नहीं कि अभी you are angry and अभी you are very happy. No. Adaptability, okay, you are going to be flexible and open to feedback mechanism wherever any kind of government scheme or initiative is going. Yes, you will be very much appreciating your co-workers over there. Definitely work ethic over here, it's going to be ambitious, it's going to be detail oriented and systematic. Decision making, definitely. It has to be balanced, thoughtful, and decisive. Overall attitude over here has to be very positive. It has to be very empathetic, and you have to be emotionally aware. So, this concept of know thyself is very important. Is it clear? Okay. Now, there are two theories, okay? There are two theories which are mentioned in your syllabus regarding emotional intelligence. One is Salovey and Mayer's model. The second one is Daniel Goleman model, okay? But understand, while you are solving the case studies, while you are writing your theory answers, if you are practicing my DAW's answer writing, you will learn how to inculcate. To know one thing is right is okay, but to inculcate these theories in your exam paper is more important. Okay, so these two theories on emotional intelligence, okay, he says that Salovey and Mayer model, he says over here that any emotionally intelligent person has four key areas where he is managing his emotion. First of all, he is perceiving the right set of emotions. Okay, he is what he is listening. Okay, he is able to identify that those tears are not crocodile tears, those are the real tears. Okay, second, he is able to reason out from there. Okay, that uh, if somebody is coming to you, okay, after knowing that it is not crocodile tear, it's a real tear, you are able to reason out that yes, whatever the person is saying, definitely it is affecting a lot of people, definitely it may be affecting him. You can reason it out well, you can understand that person very well, right? You can step into his shoes and you can analyze the situation. अच्छा ऐसा है, ऐसी परिस्थिति से आया है, this is the whole situation. It will not be, you will not be judgmental at that point of time, right? You have to understand the background. Fourth, then you can manage those emotions very well. Is it clear? Perceiving the emotions, reasoning the emotions, understanding the emotions, and managing the emotions over here. So, first of all, how can you perceive the emotions over here? You can see the facial clues. You can see the tone of the voice of the person. You can see the body posture and language. This is how they see you in your interview, right? They see all these things, whatever he's saying. Suppose a friend says, I'm fine, with some teary eyes, but you realize that his voice is trembling. He is in a lot of pain. So you can identify that, you can perceive that, right? Second, you can prioritize thinking and facilitate effective problem solving at that point of time and decision making. Because whatever action you are taking, emotions guide it. right? They are going to motivate the decision. Example which I have picked up over here. Suppose, let me take a common example. In Daniel Goldman, I'll be discussing with governance example. Suppose you are, in a village, okay, and you see that in rural villages in India, a lot of casteism is prevailing, right? No matter in cities, this has reduced. I will not say completely vanished away, but you observe that some of your friend, okay, he is from some marginalized section, and when you go into your village, you see that your some relative, they or some third friend's relative, they try to serve you, okay, in glass, and they try to serve the tea in plastic. In my own, I'm from Uttarakhand, in my own village I have seen this thing. Okay, when they serve the tea, they used to serve black tea to certain people and milk tea to certain people, which I found very discriminatory when I was a child, right? So if you are a bureaucrat and such situation, you are visiting a village and you see that within your colleagues such situation is happening. If you're emotionally intelligent, okay, if you are like, you don't, are seeing little things, if you're not aware of these things, if you're not that sensitized about human dignity, you will not uh, give it a lot of thought. But if you are emotionally aware bureaucrat, definitely what you are going to do, you are going to ensure that other person, you please give me the tea in plastic cup, I don't want in the glass cup. Okay, this is how you are basically going to balance both the sides of the emotions over there. Is it clear? Apart from this, the third emotion over here is, the third part over here is regarding understanding the emotions. Okay, so over here, you recognize there are some emotional shifts. Suppose, again, a layman example. When you see that your sibling is in anger, okay, and it is not, the anger is not on the issue, something currently that he has spilled the coffee on you. It is something which is like from a lot of days. You're able to identify, right? You will not retaliate on that part. You will try to understand, you will address the real cause, that why my brother or why my sister had been so angry on me. Like recently, my brother, he was writing an exam and we were expecting he would, qualify that. He didn't told me that, he flunked in that exam. But I called him all of a sudden and I was talking to him and he started like blabbering a lot. Then I just tried to understand, like I just took some minutes and I thought, "Ki, what happened to him that he is so angry?" I did not retaliate back to him, right? Had I done that at that moment, it would have led to burst. But then I took some time off, few hours. Next day, when I got to know, I called him and we developed that bond. Okay, yes, this is the situation. You understand those emotions. You don't react quickly. As a bureaucrat, this is very essential, right? For disbursal of subsidies and other things. Okay, you're able to manage the emotion. After all this, you are able to regulate your, okay, and others' emotions, and you are able to promote this emotional and intellectual growth. Okay? Definitely, this part needs emotional self control. Emotional expression has to be done in moderation, influencing the group emotions over here. Okay? Whatever happens during a heated argument, sometimes your mother calls you and you are shouting. She's shouting on you. So there's some debate. You give one answer, she gives two answers. Then you give another answer. So that moment of time, if you are a person of high emotional intelligence, you will take a deep breath. You will not argue so that this matter does not get escalated. And maybe another day you'll call your mother and then you will talk to her. Right. So this is a method of peaceful resolution. Is it clear? So these are the four methods which he has given. Now, another theory over here is of Daniel Goleman. Okay. Daniel Goleman, he has mentioned the 5 components of emotional intelligence over here. He says that, first of all, okay, you should be self-aware of your emotions. You should be somebody who must be knowing yourself. Know thyself. This is important. right? uh, I know one thing, that if I am preparing for UPSC and I have to get up 5 o'clock in the morning. At night, I have to stop scrolling the screen. If I keep on scrolling the screen, or if I see some Netflix series at night, definitely I can't get up in the morning. You're self aware of this fact. So you also know that you have this temptation. Then when you know all these things, when you're self aware of these things, definitely you can take those measures, remove the app, remove the subscription. You can take those apps to make consistency in your preparation and have a right decision making done. Okay, this is a common example over here. Suppose you are a bureaucrat, right? You know that if 10 people come and sit at your head, you are going to be very angry. That's what you have been since your childhood. You only know your core nature. First of all, understand this, right? In self-awareness part. So you know this nature, so you will ensure that there is, whatever the situation is, not 10 people come and sit. You ensure that there's a system that one by one the people are coming, or one by one the information is coming to you. There should not be information overloading. Knowing thyself, knowing your emotions well over. Second thing over here is self regulation, right? If you see the Netflix scrolling, you can't go and hit the library at 5 a.m. in the morning, or gym in the morning. So what do? Self regulation. You remove that Netflix from your app, from your system or device, wherever you're using. You ensure that you do certain things, that you sleep early, right? So you try to make those measures of getting self regulated. After that, इतना तो ठीक है. What is more essential over here is the motivation part. Now understand that प्रिपरेशन में कोई आपको जबरदस्ती फोर्स नहीं कर सकता है. That means nobody can force you and make you sit and write the answer. If I say you, please write daily answer writing, that is very, very important after this class. I can just be somebody who can put external accountability on you. I can't be somebody who will make you actually pick up the pen and write the answers, right? There is a very famous runner, David Goggins. He says that motivation is okay. Internal motivation comes with discipline. Now I'll tell you this thing. How to be internally motivated. Sometimes people think that, let's see some motivational videos. Let's see, some teacher is saying this. There are some these videos जहाँ से आंखों से आग निकलती है and some sparks flow. Motivational will keep you motivated for 1 hour. Somebody will talk to you. Okay, the mentor will try to understand your situation. He will tell you this is the case scenario. But do you think that it can keep you go on for this whole preparation? No. You have to develop that discipline in you. That as a bureaucrat also, right? As a bureaucrat also, you are self-aware, you are self-regulating. You have to be motivated. And this motivation has to be with your duty. You should be motivated that the duty is good in itself. You should be motivated towards it naturally, right? Apart from this, there has to be that level of empathy. Empathy means you step into someone's shoes and you analyze the situation, right? Somebody as a bureaucrat comes late in your office. Rather than scolding the person, please, before that, try to understand what is the situation. Maybe some incident happened and he says ki sahab aise aise ho gaya hai, somebody died, right? And then you realize ki, oh, I should be little aware, I should be little at least considerate and asking him the reason. And then, yeah, if that becomes a regular habit, then that's a different thing. But you should be empathetic, not only to your friends, family, but also your co-workers. Is it clear? Now this means empathy basically over here means samanubhuti, right? Samanubhuti, not sahanubhuti, that's sympathy. You are analyzing the situation, you are understanding the situations, stepping into someone's shoes, and then you are making a decision making. Is it clear? I have already given you this example when a group of, suppose you are in a district, you're posted in a tribal district, and they come to you and they try to tell their situation. This is the whole scenario. We, as our forest rights, we can't do this because some construction activity has been going on. You will have to be someone who will have that empathetic attitude despite the developmental works. You will try to bring in that balance in the system. Such case studies are asked in 2025 means also UPSC has asked this question. So you need to have that balance in approach. You need to have that empathetic approach. Is it clear? That you take decision making considering the welfare of the tribals. Okay. Social skills. You are able to communicate. Now, this is very important. How you are talking to your people, how you are motivating. You have those good social skills that you can motivate the people to move forward for Swachh Bharat Abhiyan because you want to your district to be open defecation free, right? So you motivate those people. You are like, how you can motivate your public. That is very important. Social skill and communication, always remember, is a two-way process. Is it clear? Okay. So this all totally combines and becomes the emotional intelligence. Again, a psychological part of your ethics paper. Is it clear? Now, again, let me very quickly give you a brief overview with governance example. Self-awareness. Example, let's pick it up over here. Right? Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, he acknowledged his strength and limitations during India's integration. Okay, he took the advice from the experts, and while everything he led with confidence when there was integration of the three states into unified India, making them a unified India. Self-regulation, right? 1991 reforms. A lot of criticism had been happening regarding Dr. Manmohan Singh, that he was the finance minister that time. But despite all this, he remained calm. And you know what? He brought India out of this economic crisis, and he was the one who was the man behind the LPG or new economic policy reforms in India. Is it clear? Okay. Apart from this, another keyword over here is motivation. Motivation, I have told you, by your inner passion to do things. E. Sridharan, he is also known as the Metro Man of India. He basically is driven by the public service, okay, rather than any kind of personal gain. He was the one, because of his inner drive, he led to completion of Delhi Metro Rail Corporation. Okay. Apart from this, empathy. In empathy, I have already discussed. Example over here, Kiran Bedi. When Kiran Bedi was working, okay, in Delhi, she tried to bring in the Tihar jail reforms. Now, this was a reformist approach where she had been empathetic to the needs of the people. She was giving them a chance to develop that confidence, right? Small little handworks, handicraft works, those people were doing. So by this, she was trying to inculcating that confidence in the people. She was empathizing with the criminals. Okay. Social skills. Okay. Now, by this, you manage the relations well. K. Shelja, she had united the health workers very well. She has been, very well with her crisis management or containment strategy. How she had both worked with the workers, local health leaders, and citizens during the time of COVID-19. when I'm talking about this word empathy, I'm also discussing over here that, okay, I'm also discussing over here that one over here is cognitive empathy. Cognitive is mentally you're supporting, you're knowing why your junior officer is stressed under the new workload. Okay, this is mental. Cognitive is mental empathy. Is it clear? You are just understanding another's perspective logically. When I'm talking about emotional empathy over here, again, you feel what other person feels physically, right? The feeling moved when hearing about someone's personal loss. You feel the pain. But what is most important over here is compassionate empathy. You understand and you act over here also. You help a citizen who is in disaster. You can put an example of Mother Teresa also, who has been working for the destitutes in Kolkata region. Is it clear? So concept is clear. What is emotional intelligence and what are the two major theories that you have to remember for your exam perspective, right? And Warren Buffett has said that whenever you have to hire somebody in your work profile, that person needs to have more emotional intelligence compared to the intelligence quotient. Okay, so basically, this intelligence quotient, it comes from your cognitive ability, your mental ability, your innate ability of some problem solving. But emotional intelligence, basically, it's ability to identify, assess and regulate one's and others emotion. Is it clear? Now this facilitates decision making, it regulates the behavior as a bureaucrat. Outcomes, definitely leadership, we see teamwork, we see empathy, we see collaboration over here. Definitely in the workplace, it is crucial for interpersonal relations, service orientation, managing team and conflict. It enables emotionally stable responses to high stress situations, definitely. It helps those with social challenges to connect and collaborate better. Transformational people oriented leadership. Example of leadership style over here, Lal Bahadur Shastri. You can give this example, right? Mahatma Gandhi, right? Okay. Now, definitely EQ is a better predicator of success than IQ. This I have also discussed in your class regarding aptitude and attitude, where I have said that if you have to hire somebody, okay, why this whole interview program is happening, if you have to hire somebody, you need to ensure that the person has a very good attitude. Average aptitude person is also okay. Many a times they say, many of our friends are IITians, they have very high IQ, and still they could not qualify this exam of UPSC, because it is also about the attitude. It's just not knowledge. Knowledge, average knowledge, if you see the whole means paper, how the question they are asking, you don't have to do a PhD, a very basic concept and very good uh, strategy you need to have, that is required. Apart from that, attitude to sustain the stress management, okay, to have that emotional intelligence, only this will lead you to qualify the exam. Okay, it's not about being intelligent, it's more about being emotionally aware. In the examination hall, you may be intelligent, but if you can't do emotional decision making in your question paper, if you can't choose the right question at the right place at the right moment, you are out of the race. Okay, so that is required here. Okay, let's pick up some case studies over here. Abdul Kalam, he is also known as the people's president. Now this you have to put in your answers, writing over here, right? We had already seen that initially he was the one who had been working for the space mission. He was the one who had led to successful space mission in India, right? Uplifting the messages, inspiring the millions. Kiran Bedi, reformist police officer. Okay, she was the first IPS police officer who had brought the Tihar jail reforms. E. Sridharan, the metroman, we had noticed over here. He had balanced technical brilliance with emotional leadership. I.S. Armstrong Pame. Okay, he had built 100-kilometer roads over here in Manipur. Okay, he was the one who empathized with the people who had been working over there. Is it clear? Uh, T.N. Seshan. Okay, he has transformed India's election system while maintaining the public trust. All these examples we have already dealt with earlier. Now, the question which rises over here, that why it is important to develop this emotional intelligence. It leads to increased self-awareness, right? Better decision making, expression of thoughts and feelings. You know, sometimes people just listen things and they bottle up inside their heart. It's better to be aware and speak it out, right? Discover the inner passion. You have to align your work with what you can uh, care deeply, right? Know your strength and weakness. You need to have done the SWOT analysis. You need to practice empathy every time in every part of life. And after this, you have to manage the emotions. Not every time you have to react. Sometimes you have to take a step back to move 10 steps ahead, right? You have to be socially responsible. You have to control the impulses, reflect regularly, and choose happiness. Is it clear? Definitely, all this leads to improved relationships, acting with integrity. The stress is reduced. There are better career prospects. There is enhanced communication. There are empathetic skills, creative thinking. Okay. Now, let's pick up the question over here, past year. What really matters for success, character, happiness, and long life achievements is definitely set of emotional skills, your EQ. Definitely all the people who have gained success in life. You take the classic example of Abraham Lincoln. What did we saw in case of Abraham Lincoln? That he had failed all throughout in life, failed in personal life, started a business, lost money over there. But eventually, in his late 50s, he became the first black president of United States. Right? Again, why? Not that he is somebody who has very high cognitive ability, but he is aware, he is emotionally aware. Okay? Do you agree with this view? Definitely. Yes, we do agree. Give reasons in support of your answer. Now, when they are asking these reasons, you have to give the reasons over here. And after the reasons, please substantiate, although they have not mentioned over here, you have to substantiate it with the classic examples also. So basically, when they are talking about emotional skills, here you can give the definition of Daniel Goleman. You can tell in the five ways how he's talking about that there should be self awareness, there should be self regulation, there should be motivation, right? There should be empathy, and there should be the social skill development, right? And then you quote the examples of various people from history and world history, right? In case of crisis of conscience, now this is internal determinant of ethic I have discussed. Does emotional intelligence help overcome the same without compromising the ethical or moral standard that you are likely to follow? So, first understand the keyword crisis of conscience. Should I do this? Should I do that? I'm getting late. Okay, I'm getting late for my interview, but some child is there, he's hungry and he's asking for the food. What should I do? Does emotional intelligence help to overcome the same? Yes, it does. help overcome the ethical and moral standard that you are likely to follow. But understand the need of the question over here is critically examine. Whenever in your mains they ask critically examine, approximately 60%, okay, 60% of your answer has to be written on critical analysis, and the 40% you have to substantiate it with the yes. First of all, there are dilemmas, crisis of conscience. For example, dowry. If dowry is asked, you know it is wrong, right? But moral standard is society is still accepting dowry in the form आपको जो देना है अपनी बेटी को दे दीजिए. In another form, the process of dowry is still going, right? So this is the critical examination over there at that point of time. What do you do? There is so much of social pressure, right? Your in-laws, they may be talking initially that आपको जो देना है अपनी बेटी को दे, but at the back they may be like कि you know what our relatives are going to say कि इसका क्या सामान आया. This is the fact of the society, right? So is not that crisis of conscience कि I am somebody very truthful, I am talking about the concept of dignity and equal labor and equal human conception, then why this conception of dowry, right? So this is how you are going to support this critical examination point with the social issues that which are going. Is it clear? You can take the classic example of homosexuality, right? There is crisis of conscience. Then there are these moral standards. In today's time, also, although Supreme Court in its section 377 in Navdeep Singh Zor has decriminalized homosexuality, but still it's a taboo morally, right? So that's how you can answer this question. What are the main components of emotional intelligence, and can they be learned? Learned, they can be inculcated only when you are willing to do. It's an internalization of value system, right? You have to just discuss. This is not critical analysis. Emotional intelligence is the ability to make, you can write over here, we have already discussed Daniel Goleman model. Emotional intelligence, the ability to make your emotions work for you instead of against you. Do you agree with this view? Yes. As a bureaucrat, any kind of incident happens in your district, you are going to ensure that you're going to be very high emotionally intelligence and ensure that the your emotional intelligence helps in welfare dispersal of the schemes and all. Suppose a old lady, she comes to you and she says you कि beta मेरे को I need some food, I am destitute and I don't have a place, I don't know what should I go. She comes and she cries in front of you. Are you going to be that bureaucrat who is going to say just go away, Mataji? No, you are going to be somebody who is going to ensure that there is you know, her iris scan is done, her fingerprints are done, and she gets a proper place at some graha old age home, right? And you ensure that her UAID and all the parts are done. We'll try to contact the team and work for this. Is it clear? Yes, I have discussed this question over here. Okay, thank you. Keep writing the doors.